What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. Today we're going to look at the global event. It's already nearly over, which is sad. I wish they were still on for 2 weeks. There's only 1 day, 19 hours left. But I did really want to show you a build that I use that might help you out if you've been struggling with it this week and you want to get some last minute stars before it finishes on Tuesday. For some reason it says I've got 43 stars. I had none. I activated the global event to test this build and they all appeared. So maybe if you've not got any stars or you think you should have, because obviously it does say that if you don't spend them, you'll lose them. But we know that's not the case. They always kind of come back when the same global event starts up. Just do something in the global event with it activated and hopefully you will get back your missing stars. With all that said though, I'm just going to show you the build that I use that kind of just breezes through this global event really easily. You can just use strikers and get through this event. It's not anything terribly hard to do. It's just not that entertaining because if you look at the details, they basically build this bar when they see you and they do more damage to you, which is not great. It says here we can turn the tables somewhere. Where does it say this? Additionally, a fully exposed agent can discharge their exposure to all nearby enemies by completing a cover to cover, resulting in the pulse effect. And it also diminishes the damage that they deal to the agent. So I mean, that's great, but chances are most things will be dead before we really get a chance to do that. But let's give it a go and see anyway, and I'll see if this build still works, still looks good on it or not. Let's see. So far so good.
Charge compromised.
We did the cover to cover. Might as well. And at that point then, yeah, it's an absolute free for all. He's already dead anyway. But it is kind of worth doing the full cover to cover thing. You do get a decent amount of damage, obviously.
Agent, you'll need to find a way to open that gate.
But like I said, most builds will get you through this event anyway, with us being so tanky and well, so more not tanky, but do so much damage anyway. This build also, I forgot, it actually buffs your teammates as well, which is crazy good.
Agent in need of backup.
Great seeing them die and I'm not even shot them. Just makes absolute mincemeat. Stop hiding behind the turret, mate. Thank you. Pulse always comes in really nice for that little bit of extra damage when you need it.
Charge.
I feel like I've missed somebody behind me. Yeah, there we go.
Charge transfer.
It is good when the exposure does start going around, especially when you chain it. It's a lot of fun. Language, please. We're on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it just makes for an easy run, and this build's good anyway. This build like works really well in a regular situation. So let's go through it, and you'll have a couple of options when it comes to guns as well, which is cool. So this is the build that I have been running. It's basically just ongoing directive, but it has some decent survivability actually. You spread a lot of status effects do a lot of damage. You can see the red and purples ones I'd not even shot were, you know, dead or half dead before I even got to them, which is really, really great. Gun wise, you can use pretty much whatever you want here. The St. Elmo's engine's really good because obviously it applies the electric status effect, which gets ongoing directive going without any kind of faff. But we've got skills for that as well, so you don't have to run that. You could run the shield splinterer, you could run the Scorpio, you could run the what's it called? The exotic LMG, the blue. I've lost it. We'll come back to it afterwards. But you could run that as well. Yeah, all just really, really good. And really, you're not really focusing on any stats here. So we're not focusing into crit chance, we're not focusing into headshots or anything like that. We're just focusing into status effects. So for the vial, we get status effects, we get some Hasbro, we get a skill tier, and I just put in a protection from elite mod. Then we get toxic delivery because when we put the bleed on them, we then get the toxic delivery debuff as well, which then does extra damage to them, whether we can see them or not. So it's a great piece for this. I then decide to use the courier. It does give us 15% headshot damage, which I'm not going to complain about. You could put this to whatever core attribute you want. I just went with weapon damage. Status effect and headshot, again, as long as you've got status effect here, we're not really too bothered. But then it gets with perfect creeping death. When you apply a status effect, it also applies to enemies within 10 meters, which I think is pretty important to spread that bleed. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that, you know, the enemies almost dead situation happening, especially when they run off or go in cover and all that kind of stuff. We then gone with ongoing directive, gives us status effect, reload speed, and rules of engagement. This is where you can buff the team at the same time as well. So shooting a status effect enemy, which we will have done because we either used a skill or we used our gun or whatever to get a status effect on them. Killing them provides hollow point ammo. Hollow point ammo makes them bleed and provides 20% amp damage. With this, I got weapon damage, crit chance, and protection from elites. But that's actually wrong. This actually should be status effects. I didn't realise when I was putting it together, I'd not rolled that one to status effects. And then protection from elite mod in the bottom because, you know, I just want some protection from elite, some extra survivability. But you could put headshot damage in there if you wanted to as well. Then with the gloves, just weapon damage and status effects. Oh, one thing I did miss. Obviously, we get the talent at the bottom. So our damage actually goes up to 35% amp. It doesn't apply to party members though, so remember that. The holster, weapon damage and status effects. And the knees, weapon damage and status effects. And that's basically just so if they run and go and hide in cover, depending on what kind of content you're doing. It doesn't matter. The bleed will stay on for longer and therefore do more damage, and they might just die while they're in cover. If you want to put a jammer pulse on, that applies status effect straight away, meaning that the vial mask will start working straight away as well on all the enemies. So that's great. And if you needed to, you know, if you were using the shield splinterer, you could then kill them and get a hollow point anyway. So that's also an option. I use the bleed hive, the stinger, just because it's great to just throw over where, you know, we've all played these missions a million times now. We know where they're going to spawn. So if you're running past an area where they're going to spawn next while you know, going killing some enemies, throw that there, and then when they come out, they start bleeding. And, you know, by the time they come out, they've not got a lot of life left for you to deal with. There's not a lot going on here. 30 crit chance, 65 crit damage, and 100 headshot damage. Let's go back, because I forgot the name of that gun that you're all going to shout at me in the comments. But also a great gun for this, which I used to use a lot of the time, is the Pestilence. The Pestilence is broke still at the moment. It's really, really good though. But for some reason, the resistances to the Pestilence talent that should have been PvP only is applying in PvE. That's happening with a few things though at the moment. It's not just the Pestilence. But the blue screen, that's what I knew. I was halfway there. You could run the blue screen, you could run the Iron Lung, you could run the Pesty. All of these really good guns for this build, so you get a lot of choice, and you don't have to worry about headshot, you don't have to worry about crit chance, crit damage or anything like that, because we're doing all of our damage with status pretty much, and, you know, the ongoing directive bullets that we get. So yeah, great build, really good for the GE, but like I said, there's many things good for this GE, so I'm going to go and spend these stars that I totally forgot about, get myself some extra exotic components. You have yourself a great day, agents. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.